So back in 2011, creators Becky Sloan and Joe Pelling made a web series called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, consisting of 6 short episodes with 3 main characters known as Red Guy, Yellow Guy, and Duck Guy? Each episode is about a different subject, songs, guest characters, and all types of fun stuff. The show gained a huge following with millions of views, and if you haven't watched it yet, 1, I'm jealous, 2, what the hell are you doing here? Go watch it. I guess the best way to describe it is, it's one of these things when you watch it for the first time, you're like, what the heck did I just watch? Are they just trolling me? But then you start picking up certain things and you're like, wait a minute. It actually means something. There's a deeper meaning to this. What really stood out to me was the production value and how much effort was put into this. There's no way someone will waste so much time and effort, all the way to the tiniest details, just to mess with us. This is a well-thought creation. I will not exaggerate if I say this is probably one of the best things I've seen on YouTube. Original, creative, no pun intended, surreal, and really makes you think in a way you would have never expected from a short, creepy puppet show. And now, after 6 years since the last episode, we finally got a TV series on the British network Channel 4. That's right, an actual TV show. We came a long way. Let's talk about it. And there's a lot to talk about. This video is going to focus on the TV show and not the original web series. First, because there's already so many videos out there about the original series. And second, I just now finished watching the TV show and I have so many questions. A lot of things to share, things that I picked while watching this, and the fact that it's brand new and there's not tons of information about this out there makes it way more mysterious and fun to talk about. So yeah, there's plot spoilers, get ready, this is the final warning before we proceed. Okay, ready? Let's do it. In the first episode, titled Jobs, the main characters are being introduced to a new teacher character, the Briefcase, who sells them the idea of having a job and that they can be anything they want, but in reality, he leads them to become factory workers in a dead-end job, making bits who gets recycled into parts that doesn't really go anywhere, like a never-ending cycle. When Duck, who thinks outside of the box, makes something different, it's being labeled as faulty products and being thrown away. And then of course, the creepy smiley face helmet as an excuse to be protected from accidents. But more about that later. In fact, they're so busy working that their so-called lunch is processed pre-packed meals, kinda, from the vending machine they're being distracted by, because you're not supposed to talk about work over lunch. Duck doesn't get anything since he doesn't have a token because he didn't work like the rest, so he's been directed to the free vending machine, which kinda sounds familiar. Meanwhile, Red Guy, who wanted to do as little as possible or nothing at all, is now the boss, surrounded by yes men, suggesting that the system promotes certain people unfairly. And he's getting the good stuff. Salmon and diamonds, my favorites. As Duck senses there's something off about this place, I guess discovering a rotten brain underneath one of the employees' helmet kinda gives you a hint. He refuses to go with the flow, after all, he just wanted to invent digital currency. He confronts Red Guy, trying to talk sense to him, and Red Guy tells him if he's having trouble fitting in, then maybe he should book in a session with the Carehound, which is, by the way, a real app that helps people support their elderly loved ones. In contrast, Yellow Guy, after coming across his hardly working boss, sings the vending machine song on his way out of the restroom, is breaking the fourth wall by talking to us, the viewers, telling us if you're having trouble coping at work, you should call all these different numbers. However, while he's saying this, the urinal behind him is trying to call, but nobody answers. So after Duck gets fired, and overall being treated as different and crazy, he gets a so-called treatment by a robot computer machine thing, who treats him, well, like a robot. The limited choice of emotions perhaps represent the limited solutions these types of things can offer, unlike if he would have talked to a real person. He tries to explain that he's not stressed, he's just unemployed. The computer keeps throwing generic lines at him without actually listening, offering that it's his attitude that is wrong and needs to be fixed, maybe with the help of drugs and books, which he refuses while this thing keeps singing about relaxing in the most unrelaxing way possible. Only after Duck files a complaint and gets the creepiest brainwash treatment ever, like literally being washed, he's now ready to go back to work. He puts on the helmet and walks back to the factory, only to realize it's been 40 years he's been treated as the new guy, and it's the retirement party of Yellow Guy, who's now older and literally got married to his work and has a daughter. Maybe now we know why the vending machine kept asking about the child. Yeah, Petersons and Sons for sure. I guess he became one of these guys that has one of himself. Duck realized this is not what they were supposed to do. Maybe feel like he has wasted his life. And he throws away the farewell teammate card, which pretty much represents Yellow Guy's entire life and what defines him at this point, as he tries to save it. And yeah. The factory doesn't even care. At the end of the day, he's just another common worker in the system. A tool, a part, like the ones they're making, and eventually become themselves. As one of them says at the beginning, sometimes I feel like the parts are making me. This factory sure makes parts, alright? So instead of helping, the employees are too busy being happy that they're not in an accident. And the boss, who's now older as well, only does what he knows. Fire people. And who gets fired? The worker who lost his hand in an accident and cannot be valuable to the company anymore. Duck takes the emergency kit, opens it, and it's the briefcase again, who continues with the song to convince them that they can be anything they want if they'll have a job. They're all back at the house where they started. Yellow Guy says, "My hand, my child," which can indicate that he lost his hand and his job. As the briefcase goes off to work, not before Duck asks what it was all for. The briefcase pulls out a token coin. Did he steal Duck's idea from the beginning? I mean, after all, money equals respect, as the price or the answer and the reason for all of this, and throws it at Duck's eye. Yep, money can blind us all. This episode feels like a criticism about the concept or the idea of the term job, how we all need to have one, unlike unemployed Brandon, and how we're being manipulated to believe what it is and should be, but in reality, it is very far from it. Of course, the original creators never explained anything. This is just one's opinion and personal interpretation. I'm pretty sure it will change and more things will add up later. It is still very fresh, like literally just released today. And as we speak, there's thousands of theories out there, and most likely more information and new discoveries will be found. This is just me sharing my first thoughts, and I love to hear what you guys think. There's more things that I'm not completely sure about, but I am sure about one thing. I absolutely love this episode. A very bright start to the series. It maintains the surreal, trippy feel of the original, but also naturally because of that transformation from a short to a full 20 plus minutes, it also allows to explore the main characters more, their personalities, friendship, and dynamics. Also because it's longer and the creators could take their time with this. Not only we're getting more songs and guest characters, but also I feel like it has time to put more humor, more jokes, one-liners. It may even be funnier than the original. I don't know, just a thought. Of course, comparing it with the original is a bit problematic. I love them both. The way I see it, it's similar to an artist's first musical album or the first movie or video game of a franchise. The first one is usually smaller, shorter, but revolutionary, and the one that follows the success has bigger budget, longer and richer story. They're both good, just different. I mean, obviously, the production of the TV show is better, and I actually think they took it to the next level with this one. They dived deeper and expanded more on their universe. But hey, the original will always be the original. I'm just happy and fascinated to see how big Don't Hug Me I'm Scared has become. From the little creepy video in the weird part of the web to an entire TV show with full episodes. I never thought I would see this. I mean, I always hoped, but now that it actually happened, it's like one of these things that restores your faith in the world and makes you feel a little bit better about life. A world when Don't Hug Me I'm Scared gets its own TV show. Maybe it's not so bad here after all. Let me know what you guys think, and if you want me to continue making videos about the rest of the episodes. I'm pretty sure we barely even covered a fraction of this. But like I said, this is just the first impression. I'm curious to hear your theories and opinions about this. And of course, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.